What's happening, fam? L.A.R movement still moving. Book is entitled Lessons from a Non-Custodial Father at Amazon Kindle. Create space. Link will be in the description box below. The question is, should classic men settle? So, I mean, if you are a classic man or master of the universe type, should you actually settle? Like, and the reason I say that is because for the most part, guys always settle. We always settle. You know, we'll date down. We'll date. Um, how can I say? We'll date somebody who's less intelligent, has less education, or makes less money. But the question at the end of the day is, how far down should you go? You know, if you're a classic man or a master of the universe, is it about getting a partner who you have to teach, or is it about getting a partner who fills a particular role, so you just want them to fill that role, right? So, should you settle? Like, if you're looking for character traits, should you settle on looks, um, demeanor, what she's bringing to the table? Is it an 80-20 thing, or is it a 70-30 or 60-40? You feel me? Or is it a 50-50? Which you can accept and not accept. Um, what are classic men's deal breakers, or masters of the universe? What are your deal breakers? You know, a lot of people talk about um, you won't date a single mother. Fine, but what are the things that what are your deal breakers with single women who don't have kids, whether they're in their 20s or 30s, maybe even 40s? I don't know. You know, matter of fact, would you call a single, if a woman was in her 30s, maybe 40s, and her children are wound up being grown, would she be back into the would she still be considered a single mother because you don't have to take care of those kids? These are the questions I ask. Um, what uh, what would you like? How much should she bring to the table? You know, how much are you willing to teach her to be able to be on par with what you want brought to the table? Which is another, type of question, because I could give solutions, but I might give some. I might give some. But what's the most important you willing to as non-negotiable? Do you need her respect, or do you want her love? You know what I'm saying? Um, like I said about the body type, face. Does she have to have? Um, is a 5, 6, or 7 face okay? But it, but is but was a 5, 6, 7 body not okay? Does she need to have a 7, 8, 9, 10 body? You know what I'm saying? That's why, what would you settle for? Um, Her financial situation. What 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 is acceptable? Is how much debt can she carry into a relationship? Because whether people like to admit it or not, when you're dealing with somebody, you're going to deal with their debt too. You don't necessarily have to marry them, but just being in a relationship with them, there's going to be a certain cost of being with a person. So how much cost is okay and how much cost is too much? Um, and what's the trade-off to if it costs this much, how much has to be given? You know, um, on another hand, is for some guys, if it's just a sexual thing, is sex enough? Is sex an equalizer or enough of a payment to 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 settle for? Is bad sex like nah, I can't do it, and great sex like I'll be able to put up with it for um, a certain amount of time? Because at some point you got to know, um, should classic men is classic men are the masters of the universe? I would say those men initiate approaching. Should you be with a woman who does not reciprocate her affection to you? You know, because whether a lot of guys want to say this or not, a lot of these ladies out here have cold feet. They want you to do a lot, but when it comes to them doing things, they act as if they have cold feet all the time. So can you deal with a woman with cold feet? Questions. When it comes to single people without kids, how much youth are you willing to deal with, or how much inexperience are you willing to deal with, even if it isn't just youth? How much? Like what's reasonable? Um, when it comes to settling, are you delusional in your own value? Are you pricing yourself above your actual market value, or are you pricing yourself below your actual market value? Do you know if you're settling or not, or how, or the gap between how much you're settling for? Um, have you put your theories about yourself and your value to test? You know, like as far as settling, does does your settling come with a time limit? You know, if you hit a certain age, are you going to be a perpetual bachelor? Are you actually looking for a long-term commitment, whether it just be companionship or marriage? What are classic men or even the masters of the universe guys? What is the do you know your agenda? Um, this is a question. Um, the other thing is, uh, as far as for black men, does your value change racially? Do you feel like you value more within the community or outside the community? So are you willing to, if you get if you feel like you're valued within a community, do you have an option of leaving? If you feel like you're value more outside the community, do you stay? You know, just gotta ask those questions, because at some point I mean, a decision is going to be made and a direction is going to be chose. People are going to choose their path. So that's just my 2 cents for the day. Questions, the answers on you fellas. Peace.